Hey there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. So, how often do couples fight? 9 tips for healthy arguments. Do you and your significant other argue too much? Before answering that question, you have to answer the question, how often do couples fight in general? Is there a number of times you should not go over so your relationship becomes classified as toxic? Is there a number of times you must fight unless you want to be accused of suppressing your emotions or being called conflict avoidant? Here are some things that will help you resolve all of your dilemmas and more. So, how often do couples fight? 6 factors. Despite popular opinions, the frequency of arguments is no predictor of a relationship's happiness and health. Of course, I'm not talking about the situation where you cannot go a day without a huge fight. However, there are numerous issues that have to be discussed before answering the question, how often do couples fight? Before anything else, it's important to keep in mind how they resolve their disagreements. But let's first see the factors that impact the frequency of fights. The first factor, how long is the relationship? The first thing to consider is definitely the length of your relationship. According to relationship experts, the couples who fight the most have been together for between 6 months and a year. Why is that so? Stage 1. Well, when you first start dating, you don't know your true colors. I'm not saying that you are deliberately deceiving your partner, but we all feel the need to present ourselves in a better light. Besides, you are in a honeymoon phase and there are butterflies flying around in your tummy. You've got your rose-tinted glasses on, and even the annoying things your partner does look cute. Even when you are bothered by something they do, you will bite your tongue. You don't want to be perceived as naggy or overly demanding. Stage 2. But when your relationship reaches a certain length, you are both relaxed and it's safe to change. You no longer have a problem stating what is bothering you. At the same time, you both show your true colors. The butterflies are slowly flying away and all of your quirks come to light. That is when arguments become more common. Don't be scared. Happy couples go through this phase as well. Stage 3. So now, after spending years together, you have seen all the red flags and you have decided to live with them. Otherwise, you will not stick around for that long. What is the amount of times you argue at this stage? Well, if you are in a healthy relationship, the frequency should drop significantly. On the other hand, if you cannot really stand each other and are together for the wrong reasons, a habit, maybe co-parenting, finances, comfort zone, you've got yourself in a problem. In that case, you literally cannot communicate without fighting. Number 2, how serious is the relationship? Another factor that impacts the answer to the question of how often do couples fight is the level of your relationship. Is it something serious? Are you married or are you just dating? The answer to this one is actually pretty logical. You won't fight with someone you don't see a future with. At least not that often. Because to be honest, why would you waste your energy? I mean, you don't give a damn if he leaves his dirty socks under the bed if we are talking about a casual hookup. You have no idea when you'll see him next, and even though this might bother you, you'll still tolerate it. But what happens when your significant other does it? Well, you go crazy because you see yourself spending a lifetime picking up his dirty socks. And there are a bunch of these seemingly little things even happy couples argue about. The other thing, their personalities. It seems like some people enjoy arguing. They pick a fight wherever they appear, and they are able to argue for hours and hours, even when it becomes completely pointless. They must get their way, and they won't give up until the other side admits that they are right. On the other hand, there are those who will do everything in their power to avoid getting into a fight. These are usually people pleasers who don't have trouble nodding their heads at everything the other party says just to avoid conflict. And then there is everyone in between. The bottom line is that we all have a different set of personality traits. We react to things that bother us differently, and we deal with disputes in various ways. This is a major factor when it comes to the frequency of arguments, and one of the main reasons why there is no universal answer to the question, how often do couples fight? Number 4, different levels of commitment, love, and devotion. One of the worst things about romantic relationships is when one partner is all in while the other enters it half-heartedly. When one is committed and devoted while the other sees the relationship as something temporary. When one person loves more. So in that case, one of the people always feels like they're not getting as much as they deserve. They feel emotionally neglected and taken advantage of. So when this happens, fights are inevitable and constant. The person who is giving less becomes avoidant and is usually not the one picking fights. On the other hand, the emotionally neglected one wants justice and is the one starting arguments all the time. I mean, who could blame them? Number 5, communication skills. You and your significant other's communication skills are extremely important when it comes to the frequency of fights. How do you usually express emotions? Are you good at speaking your mind? Do you tend to misinterpret what the other person is trying to tell you? Are you an empath who has the ability to feel your partner's feelings? How do you get along with communication in general? For example, outside of your relationship. All of these things will make a difference when it comes to fighting with your loved one. Number 6, equality in a relationship. Every relationship coach will tell you that the frequency of arguments also depends on your relationship hierarchy. There are numerous relationships where one person is afraid to speak up. In that case, there is no fighting. The dominant person makes a demand, and that demand must be fulfilled. On the other hand, if you're both equals and there is no submissive person who is not allowed to confront the dominant one, arguments will be more way frequently. So how often should couples fight? That is the question. There is no universal answer to this question. First of all, what do we consider a fight? Is it just a huge argument, or does the term implies to small bickering? Are we talking about two extroverts who have no trouble expressing their emotions? Or maybe about two people pleaser who never speak their minds? Every couple has their routine, and as long as they don't argue on regular basis and have a way of resolving their conflicts, they're good to go. How often do married couples fight? Most married couples squarely every couple of days, but that does not mean they are at each other's throats all the time. Besides, it all depends on multiple factors. Sometimes a married couple will argue a couple of times a week, and then sometimes they will go months without the smallest of bickering. Is it normal to fight every week in a relationship? Now, if we're talking about huge fights, it's definitely too frequent to argue every week. But if you are referring to irrelevant disagreements that come and go, there is nothing wrong with that. Is it normal to fight every day in a relationship? No. It is not normal for healthy couples to argue every single day. According to clinical psychologists, fighting every day in a relationship is extremely harmful to your mental health. If this is something you can relate to, you're in a toxic relationship and you have two options: either to work on your conflict resolution as a couple or part ways. So 9 tips for healthy arguments. I'll tell you right away. You cannot avoid getting into a fight, or to be precise, you should not do. However, there are some tips that can help you argue more productively. Here are the tips. Number 1, honesty is always the way to go. When you're bothered by something, you should speak up. Happy couples fight more often than you might think, but that is because they are honest about everything they want to change in their relationship. And that's a great thing. I'm not saying you should pick fights whenever you get the chance to, but you should definitely be comfortable enough to be honest about the things you'd like to repair. Number 2, respect is mandatory. No name calling, humiliating, and insulting your partner. Remember, just because you argue with someone does not mean you are allowed to disrespect them, especially when we are talking about your romantic partner. Trust me, the first time you cross this line, things will forever change. If you insult each other once and you both let it slide, it will become a normal way of communicating, and that is the last thing you want. Number 3, validate each other's feelings. You don't feel like you've done anything wrong. Okay, that is your point of view. But at the same time, your partner feels hurt and heartbroken. Should you fight to decide whether they have the right to feel that way? Or are they overreacting? Is their reaction realistic? This is not open for discussion. You must validate each other's feelings. That is the whole point. Number 4, don't make it personal. Remember, if you are criticizing something your partner has done, you are not criticizing them as a person. The same goes both ways. I know it's hard to take relationship arguments personally, but please do your best to separate the art from the artist. This kind of approach will help you both see things more realistically, and you'll gain the objectivity you didn't know you had. Address the issue. That is another point. Don't replay old hits. Don't tackle all the what ifs, could haves, and should have beens. Don't go beating around the bush either. Yes, this is quite challenging, especially when you've been together for ages, but trust me on this one. Address the issue that started this entire fuss. Only when you resolve this are you allowed to tackle anything else. Number 6, no mind games. Stonewalling, silent treatment, emotional blackmail, and similar tactics are emotional abuse. The same goes for other techniques that should magically tell your partner what you're bothered by. This is not a game, it's a relationship, and you must always be direct if you want things to work out for the best. Don't be a child and post a social media song or a status update addressing your partner. Don't expect them to read your mind and magically know what is wrong. Instead, be mature enough to start a fight if it's necessary. Number 7, learn how to listen. The art of listening carefully is crucial for healthy fighting. You cannot be the only one talking, and you must take the other person's point of view into consideration. Listen to what they have to say and don't interrupt them until they are finished. Don't be rude no matter what is going on. Number 8, don't be impulsive. Reaction in the heat of the moment is all fun and games until you have to suffer the consequences of your actions. Fighting with your partner will be much more productive if you take a deep breath or even step outside for a while before continuing. Number 9, agree to disagree. Every family therapist will tell you the same thing. It's you two against the problem, not against each other. It doesn't matter who is right and who is wrong. What matters is you solve the problem. So, please keep this in mind in the next time you argue with your loved one without any solution in sight. Remember that this is not a power struggle. Sometimes you won't have the same attitudes and opinions, and that is perfectly okay. That is why you must learn how to agree to disagree. To wrap all this up, are couples who don't fight happier? Absolutely not. In fact, in most cases, they're like a bomb waiting to go off. And when it happens, it will blow the whole place up. Are couples who fight every single day happier? Absolutely not. It's a clear sign of a toxic relationship, and it's awful for everyone's mental health. Do couples fight in a healthy relationship? Yes. Do couples fight in an unhealthy relationship? Yes, again. At the end of the day, there is no answer to the question, how often do couples fight? It's not like an exact number of arguments that fit you into a category of a healthy couple exists. Other things, such as productive ways of ending a fight and respectful ways to argue, are what matter more. Hello there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. 7 ways girls broken by narcissists love differently. I bet you thought you were in the most romantic love story of your life when you first met him. He brushed up against you and you clicked, or he kissed you and your world turned upside down in a heartbeat. You fell under his control, you were his. But that love story did not last for long, and it most certainly did not have a happy ending. It took him a long time to lose the mask he put on for his one-man show to impress you, or maybe it's better to say for his hunt where he captured you in his cruel trap. He was so addictive. You even knew he was not good for you, but you could not stop. You needed a fix of him and you kept coming back. He was so consuming and convincing. His lies were so good that they bordered on fantasy. His story of his ex-girlfriend was so real that you believed every part of it until you later found out that she was only a victim the same way as you were. He slowly consumed you. He slowly set the scene the way it suited him. He needed things to be his way before he attacked. He faked interest in you, and despite his own self-centeredness, he pretended that he had made you the center of his world. He wanted you to feel like you meant the world to him, so you started trusting him. Once you trusted him, the rest was an easy game. He had you in his grip, you were powerless. He isolated you from friends, family, and all this was because he convinced you that he was the only thing you needed and wanted in your life. So when he finally succeeded in making you feel all alone in this world, he attacked. The mask was off, and suddenly this nightmare of yours became real. A little part of your hell became your reality, and you could not escape it. You could not just wake up. It was real. It was happening. These things became your everyday life. You could not escape it. He assured you that you were the crazy one. He twisted your memory, your identity, and he erased your self-esteem. You were an empty girl who he had fed with his twisted version of what was right, and you believed him. But everything has an expiration date, and so does this nightmare. So many lies got to you in one place in a short period of time, and they left a huge impact. They made a huge boom. You were left broken and alone, but finally free. You are now the girl who still knows how to love, but you love differently. The first thing, you have no idea what real love is. Maybe you got a glimpse of what it should have been like at the beginning. He did the right thing in the beginning, but it was all a lie. It wasn't because he loved you, it was because he wanted to lure you, to imprison you and destroy you. You never felt real love with him. Now that you have met the right man, you don't know how to act around him. You doubt him and his unknown love you're receiving. You think everything is a big charade, a lie that will cost you later. His love confuses you, and it takes time for you to relax and open up to accept something you deserve from the start. The second thing, you have trust issues. You didn't have a voice of your own in your previous relationship. You were just an outline, and he held the brush to fill you in with the colors he chose. You hated those colors, but you could not erase them until you took control, until you took the brush and repainted yourself. You kept fearing you were going to be forced to relive the whole thing from the start. There was no trust. Your last relationship was built on lies. It will take time for you to trust someone again, but your new man knows that. That's why he gives you all the space you need. That is why he does not want to be hurt by the things you do out of fear. He knows you need time to heal, and he will be there for you. He will wait for you because he loves you. The third thing, you want to destroy everything that is good. You subconsciously destroy your chance of happiness. You try to sabotage the only real relationship you've ever had. You try to chase away the only man who has ever truly loved you. The fact that he seems perfect scares you because the narcissistic bastard was also perfect, even too perfect, and you ended up in the lowest pit of your life's journey. You try to ruin your relationship now because you cannot accept the fact that something good is happening to you. You were poisoned for too long, and you are unable to accept that there is a clean and healthy life waiting for you. The fourth thing, you apologize for everything. You are used to carrying all the weight of your relationship. You are used to being the one at fault all the time. You actually thought everything was your fault. You were in a dead-end situations where you didn't know how to react properly, so you reached for an apology every time. That was the only thing you knew would be the only thing he would accept. The man who truly loves you does not let you apologize all the time. The man who is trying to show you real love is ready to confess when he is wrong. He is ready to say, "I'm sorry." The fifth one, you are distant. It will take time for you to let go and trust anyone. You will keep your distance because you're still hurting and you are not sure if this guy is the right one. You've been beaten and you still ache. You don't want to ache anymore. Your heart is telling you it's okay and that you should allow him to get near you, but your mind keeps running away. Don't worry, that period won't last forever. He won't let it last. He will fight with everything he's got to prove himself and to gain your trust. He will tie you gently with his love and you won't be able to escape. He won't let you. The sixth thing, you are waiting for a boom. There won't be any. You are insecure because things are running smoothly. He is the most wonderful man you have ever met, and he keeps showering you with all the love and attention you deserve. It never stops. You are just waiting for lies to bounce back to you. You are waiting for a tsunami of evil and manipulative lies, but there is no tsunami in front of you. All you see is a clear sky and calm sea. You keep your guard up because you are careful and scared. You have built a wall around you which he will tear down with his love to find you, to cherish you, and to nourish back to health. The seventh thing, you need to feel safe. You need a promise that everything is going to be fine. you need him to make you believe that, and it's hard because you have difficulties believing, and you know it's not easy for him either. You need a safe place where you are loved and where you can finally love back. You need him because you have all this love to give. You need him to scare away the fear and, with your help, open a new chapter of your life and your lives together. He knows you love differently. That is why he loves you even more. You might have been broken when he met you, but you won't be for much longer. Hello there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. She's enough. You're just too scared to commit. Can't you see how hard she's trying? Can't you see you are all that she ever hoped for? Can't you see she's trying so hard just for you? Any sane man would choose her without needing to think about it twice. And yet, here you are letting her slip away. She knows she's not perfect, but she's trying. She's trying to be good for you with every atom of her body, with her whole heart and her soul. She's restless, and no matter how hard she hits your walls and bounces back, she will always choose to try one more time. And one more, and one more, until she finally succeeds. The truth is, she is more than enough. She is more enough than any other before, and probably more than any other who might come after her. But you're too much of an idiot to be able to acknowledge it. So, don't you dare tell her or anyone else how she's not good enough. Don't you dare tear her self-confidence down because of your inner demons or your insecurities. Don't let your fear of commitment make you lose a good girl. Don't allow it to be something you'll regret the most when you look at your past. She just wants someone who loves her enough to match her efforts, and that is it. Things are so simple with her. Why can't things be simple with you too? She fell for you hard and she's unable to hide it. Not that she would want to anyway. She is the type of a girl who wears her heart on her sleeve, and she's not ashamed of it. She was not ashamed of falling for you. She's not ashamed of loving you, but she will be ashamed of giving you her everything if you turn out to be worthy of nothing. When on one hand, she's trying her best to be enough for you, even though she would probably be more than enough for anyone else, you are out there fighting for a Guinness World Record in coming up with excuses. It's not that she is not worthy of you, you are not worthy of her. I pray you don't mess up to the point where there is no going back, to the point where she doesn't stop looking at you the way she does, where she stops talking about you with admiration, where she stops visiting your social media profiles, where she stops, where her eyes don't light up when you enter the room anymore. When she stops getting butterflies in her stomach at just the thought of you. Because once she stops with all of this, you lost her forever. You are afraid to let everything go. You are afraid you'll be missing out on too much if you commit to a single person. You are scared of the expectations and the efforts you need to put into a relationship. It's easier that way, isn't it? To not commit, to not tie yourself to a single person, to not have anyone who expects anything from you, to wander from one person to another without ever making your heart fall for someone completely because you are scared someone might break it. But all this leads you to waking up in a cold bed, to feeling lonely even in the most crowded room, to feel cold on the inside when it's 100 degrees outside. Even though you don't see this now, it's the truth. If you continue seeing only her mistakes, she will get tired. If you continue seeing her as someone who cannot do anything right, or if you keep focusing on her imperfections, eventually she will see herself as someone who is not good enough for you. And she will leave. She won't leave because she doesn't want to be with you, but she will leave because you will have convinced her with your behavior that she's not good enough for you. She will leave because she will think in doing so, she's making a spot in your life for someone who is worthy of your love. Before you mess up both of your lives, before you break her, stop for a second and think. Think about who you have fighting for you all the time. Think about who has been there for you whenever you needed it. Think about who knows you better than you know yourself. All roads lead to her. You're just too damn blind to see it now. But you will open your eyes eventually. Eventually, you will see her worth and how she was a one-of-a-kind girl. I just hope it won't be too late. Because if you let her go, if you convince her she's not good enough, she will bear that cross as long as she lives. She will walk through her life thinking there is something wrong with her, when in fact you only needed to bring up her flaws so you could have some kind of excuse to not commit to her. In reality, she is perfect, but it's easier for you to mess her up than it is to stand up and face your demons. Don't project your insecurities onto her. Don't bring her down so that you will be able to keep yourself on the surface. She deserves more than that. If you're not ready, let her go. Thank her for everything and set her on her way. Don't keep her at arm's length because that is killing her. Let her be happy with someone who will know she's perfect, just the way she is, who won't see her as if she's not good enough. Let her find her own happiness if you're not ready to choose her. Because there will be someone who will appreciate her efforts and who will be able to make her a priority. She wants it to be you, but the truth be told, it doesn't have to be you. Sometimes God gives us the biggest gifts by not accepting our prayers. Hey there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. 10 decisions you will regret in 10 years. Do you go through life making decisions that you end up regretting? Here are 10 decisions you will regret in 10 years so you can take action today and change your life forever. I know it can be as simple as deciding to eat that extra cake every afternoon at work, or bigger decisions such as what career to train for or whether to move to a new area. When you are aware of the decisions you are making, there is nothing to regret. The last thing you want to do is get 10 years into the future and look back and regret all the things you decided not to do. Whether that was focusing on your health or making time for things that really matter. In this video, I help you identify 10 decisions you will regret in the future, and make sure you continue watching because I'm going to show you how to make decisions in life that you'll be proud of. I'm going to give you a step-by-step plan to actually help you take the control back in your life, so make sure you don't miss out. So here are the decisions you will someday regret having made. The first one, doing things that harm you again and again. All decisions can be hard work, but would you rather suffer the hardship of regret or the hard work that it takes to make your dreams come true? Yes, resisting junk food can be hard, especially when everyone around you is doing it, but wouldn't you rather make decisions based on what you want for your life rather than living with the regret of not making the right choice over and over again? The second thing, saying yes to everything. When someone asks you to do something for them, is your immediate response yes? Do you even stop to think about the consequences of saying yes to too many things? The impact it has on your stress levels, your personal happiness, the time it takes away from quality time with your family or time you could spend working out can be disastrous. The third, avoiding personal growth. You know that old saying, if you're not growing, you're dying. It is so true. If you don't decide that you're going to personally improve, whether that is learning a new skill at work, learning how to make healthy food, or learning some skills to improve your marriage, then you will be going backward instead, and very soon you'll find yourself very dissatisfied in all of these areas. The fourth thing, not caring. Is ignorance really a bliss? Can you truly be happy if one of the most common phrases that comes out of the mouth is, I don't care? Because we all know the truth. You do care. You care very deeply, or you wouldn't be watching this right now. Choose to care. Choose to really live. The other thing, letting others choose your life for you. Do you always defer decisions to other people? When someone asks you what you want to do you often say, I don't mind? What would you like to do? I often had conversations like this where neither one of us would make a decision to do anything. And guess what? Nothing happened. Some of the most frustrating day trips I ever had involved going from restaurant to restaurant and not entering any of them because neither of us could make a decision about where to eat. That only led to two very grumpy and hungry people not having a good time at all. Another thing, not learning how to do something well. Like, are you too busy to learn how to really excel at something? Do you put off learning new skills and just make life up as you go along? Well, if you want to be really good at anything and truly live the life of your dreams, you have to take the time to learn the skills necessary for achieving your dreams. Want to be good at playing the piano? You've got to put in the hours to truly master it. It is Malcolm Gladwell's extremely popular book, Outliers, that is largely responsible for introducing the 10,000 hour rule. He suggests that you should spend 10,000 hours working on your skills in a particular area to become an expert at them. It takes a lot of time and effort, but the sense of achievement when you realize your dream is unbeatable, it is great. Giving up. Yes, giving up is a decision. The worst thing you can do is give up on your goals, on your dreams. This is one decision you know you're going to end up regretting. Worrying about every last little thing. I know some people think they cannot help worrying. That it happens automatically, and yes, you can be an autopilot doing what you've already trained your brain to do, which is worry all the time. But you can actually take the decision to learn how to stop worrying. Now that you know it is possible to stop worrying, you cannot say you cannot stop worrying. You can. Another thing, not acting with your heart. Do you make decisions because you think it's the right thing to do or because you are scared to do what you really want to do? Sometimes following your heart can be the best thing for everybody. Delaying until tomorrow. Tomorrow will never come. What small actions can you take right now to change your life to make your tomorrow a better day to live? Don't live a life filled with regret. Decide to love yourself, decide to take action, decide to care, decide to improve, decide to keep going, decide to follow your heart. Make these decisions today. Your life depends on it. So how to avoid decisions, burnout, and regret? So what tools can you use to start making better decisions and avoid decisions fatigue? Decision fatigue can lead to mental burnout when we are forced to make too many decisions in one day. It is not just the big things such as should I apply for a new job, but little decisions we are not even aware of, such as when to eat your lunch, whether to go for a walk, what to cook, when to have a shower, whether to have that tasty treat, what to watch on the TV, whether to express your opinion to friends, whether to watch to the end of this video. Let me give you a hint. Yes, especially on this occasion, all these constant decisions contribute to decision fatigue. Did you know you can actually spend 3 to 4 hours each day just resisting your desires? When we use willpower to avoid doing things on impulse, such as binge eating, impulse shopping, and expressing your true emotions, it can lead to decision fatigue, and you begin to make decisions you end up regretting. When you are relying on willpower to stop yourself doing things things you desire to do, you end up being taking advantage of and being persuaded into things you don't want to do. But if you don't avoid tempting treats that you know are not good for you, you will more than likely end up overweight with numerous health problems. I know, I've been there. So what is the answer? The answer is a healthy daily routine. The ancient sages knew that the way in which we spend our days alters the course of our lives, and they placed great importance in having a healthy daily routine. Now, more than any other time in history, our lives are so hectic that is absolutely crucial for us to take the power back and start living the lives of our dreams. Hey there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. When a married man says he misses you, when a married man says he misses you, what does it really mean? We all crave to hear a comment like, I miss you, from our friends and loved ones, don't we? It makes us feel connected to them. We feel special, we feel wanted, we feel needed, appreciated, and important to them. Then we feel the need to express gratitude and reciprocate with a positive gesture. If your married male friend tells you he misses you, you probably feel different. I know. This time, your conscience kicks and forewarns you of a possible mishap or heartache. You probably felt flattered that he values you, but also feels uncomfortable that he may violate his marital vows. The dilemma of how to respond now sets in. You get a little confused about how to react. Then, inwardly, you begin to ask some serious questions. Is he looking for an outlet to vent his possible marital frustrations, or is it simply a harmless banter? Is it just a platonic expression of friendship, or is there an underlying current of flirtation? Why does he say he misses you? Well, a little bit of friendship goes a long way, but take note that too much with a married man can be damaging. Here are possible reasons why a married man says he misses you and tips on how to respond when he says it. When a married man says he misses you, these are the things it could mean. He's genuinely interested in your friendship. A married man may tell you he misses you with no strings attached or any ulterior motive. He may simply be telling you how much he appreciates your friendship. If a married man genuinely wants your friendship, it's essential for you to keep a healthy distance while you are friends with him. I understand that you may not want to appear cold or distant from him because his friendship holds a positive influence on you, and at the same time, you don't want to lead him on or give him a wrong impression. In such a situation, ensure that your response is warm and stern, but with a friendly undertone. Avoid responses that suggest you are open to becoming emotionally intimate with him or ready to cross any emotional lines. You could say something like, I enjoy the time I spent with you. But for this friendship to survive, we must ensure that we respect each other's boundaries and relationships. I'm glad to know that you value our friendship and the time I spend with you. The second thing, he's looking for companionship. When a married man says he misses you, does he like to hang out with you all the time or chat all the time? Be alert. Your married male friend might be looking for companionship. If you have observed this in the past and he tells you that he misses you now, it is crucial to set clear boundaries. I understand that sometimes you may feel the urge to be supportive, but here is how to set limits. As you respond with a pleasant remark, remind him that you're not available for constant companionship. You could say, I'm happy and proud to be your friend, but I'm not available to hang out with you or chat all the time. That will be very unhealthy for our friendship. His wife should be his companion, not you. You can be friends, but you don't need to encourage him to spend more time with you than he already does. Remind yourself that your married male friend has an obligation to his wife and family, even if it is not easy for him at the moment. Be friendly and supportive of him, but make sure you do not cross the line and become too close. You can show support by asking him questions about his current situation and listening to his response without judgment. If he's not happy in his marriage, encourage him to seek professional help. You are not his therapist, and you should never have to take on that role. The third thing, he has an unmet emotional need that he's hoping you can satisfy. If by reasons of a previous conversation you had with him, you discovered that he has some unmet emotional needs, and then he later tells you that he misses you, he may be giving you a hint that he wants to help, like he wants you to help him satisfy those emotional needs. I believe it's best to respond firmly in this kind of situation. Let him know you understand what he's going through, but you cannot be his emotional crunch. Immediately he makes the comment, I miss you, redirect him to your previous conversation and subtly say something such as, I sympathize with your complaints. I hope you can find the support you need from your wife or another appropriate source. I'm not comfortable being a substitute for your wife. Then encourage him to approach or reapproach his wife about the issue or to seek the support of a therapist. This will help you lay a foundation for a healthy boundary with him and save you from getting pulled into an emotional affair. Another thing, he's experiencing marital problems and is looking for a sympathetic ear. If he told you or you found out he's having marital issues, this may be a clue to why he's saying he misses you. If this is why he says he misses you, then your priority should be to avoid getting drawn into the drama. The first thing you should do is disengage from the conversation. Secondly, except you are a marriage counselor by profession, you are certainly not the most appropriate person to give advice on his marital woes. Well, of course, you can offer him words of support and encouragement. However, be careful of making statements that could make him vest you with the title of his go-to person for relationship troubles. So, for example, while you tell him you're sorry to hear about his problems, ensure you tell him that you cannot be involved in his marital higgledy-piggledy. You can encourage him to talk to a counselor instead. Girdle up because that time may pass. He may get a solution to the problem and rebound with his wife. It will hurt to realize you are just being used to pass the time. Another thing, he is looking for an ego boost. A married man may tell you he misses you simply because he needs you to make him feel good about himself. You may have a gut feeling that the married man is looking for an ego boost, especially if he's your ex. He probably feels insecure or uncertain about his marriage, and he wants you to boost his self-esteem by telling him that he is desirable or that he does a good job. If you feel this way, resist the temptation to feed his ego. It is not a good way to treat a person. Please don't give him the reassurance or validation he's seeking. Instead, say a quick thank you if you don't know what to say, and redirect the question, like the conversation, to other topics. Another thing, he's bored. If a man is bored in his marriage, he may seek fun in the wrong places. He may simply be telling you he misses you and asking you to see you just because he's bored. He does not mean it. He's only in need of someone to help him while away his time. Perhaps his wife is out of the town and he needs to do something new. Be wary of a married man who seeks to use you as a tool to kill time by telling you he misses you. It is great to feel special, to feel wanted, to feel needed, to feel appreciated, important, and connected to a friend. Friendship is a wonderful thing, but it is important to be mindful of boundaries and respect the relationships of others. Not setting clear boundaries with a married man who misses you can have some serious implications. It may lead to miscommunication, mixed signals, or an embarrassing emotional entanglement. Without clear boundaries, it may be difficult to maintain a healthy friendship, especially with a married man. Meanwhile, it is also important for you to consider the feelings of his wife too. She may not appreciate her husband spending a lot of time and energy on a friendship with another woman. Of course, I agree that it is pleasant to have a friendly connection with a married man. After all, marriage is not a prison cell, and a married man has the liberty to make friends too. However, you must not let your friendship with him get too close or personal. The best friendships are built on healthy boundaries and mutual respect. So, go forth and be friendly, but always keep in mind the potential implications of your actions. Hey there, my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If a guy asks about your boyfriend, 7 things it means. Do you have a boyfriend? I know every girl has had to answer this question at some point in her life. Sometimes the question comes in other indirect and creative ways, such as, what would your boyfriend say if he saw us together? This is one hilarious question usually used by guys who want to know your relationship status but don't want to ask directly. They ask in different ways without saying it directly, but the aim is essentially the same. They are asking about your boyfriend. And that is usually done with a motive. The chances that a guy asking about your boyfriend is asking for no reason are quite slim. Most times, there is a reason for that question. It has an implication. Knowing what it means can help you determine how best to answer him. So, if a guy has recently asked you, do you have a boyfriend, or any of the other variations of this question, you don't have to scratch your head wondering what it means anymore. I bring you answers. The first thing is making small talks. Sometimes people just need topics to gist about and they end up veering into interesting topics. Perhaps you're both gisting and he randomly asks, "So, how is your boyfriend?" The question may take you aback, but he probably didn't mean for it to. Maybe he's just making conversation. You were talking about different things and he asked about your boyfriend just to keep the conversation going. It's a way to learn more about you and your life. For him, it may not mean anything. It's just like asking someone about their favorite TV show, a way to connect and find common ground. The second thing, he's curious. When a guy asks you about your boyfriend, there is possibly something he wants to do with that information. One of the possibilities is that he's trying to know your taste in men. By asking you about your boyfriend, he seeks to understand what kind of guys you are into. Perhaps he wants to know what you like in men and see if he measures up. Getting information about your boyfriend will feed his curiosity about you and make him feel like he knows you better. If you tell him, you might be surprised to find him behaving like your boyfriend or trying to fit into that role. The other thing, he's asking for himself. When a guy asks you about your boyfriend, there is a high chance he's interested in you. And this, quite honestly, is the meaning in most cases. The guy asks you about your boyfriend because he wants to know if you are available or know what kind of guys he's up against. It's like a competitor sizing up the opposition before a match. He wants to know what he's dealing with and how he stacks up. Instead of asking if you are single, taken, or in between, by simply asking about your boyfriend, he gets all the information he needs. And that way, he figures out what his chances are and where he stands. Think of it as him checking the weather before deciding to go for a walk. He wants to see if the conditions are favorable. He's curious and wants to know if there is a green light for him to pursue you further. That guy wants you, and he's taking the first step in finding out your availability. Another thing, he wants to create boundaries. I have had male friends who immediately reduced their closeness to me the moment I got married, not because they were too close for comfort before or because they had romantic intentions towards me. However, they decided to create healthy boundaries with married people out of respect for the person's new life and as a matter of personal principle. Some people are big on creating boundaries and they don't joke with it. He might ask about your boyfriend to ensure he's not crossing any boundaries. He wants to check the signs to make sure he is on the right path and not making a wrong turn that will cause trouble. By asking about your boyfriend, he shows that he respects your relationship and acknowledges that you might be committed to someone else. See it as him knocking on a door instead of just barging in. He wants to ensure he's not intruding. If he finds out you have a boyfriend, that may be his cue to exit gracefully. He wants to know if there is a storm on the horizon so he can flee. Another thing, he's trying to assess you. Some people like to know a lot of information about other people so they can assess them. Even among ladies, some can ask you so many questions that you wonder if they're getting you registered for an opportunity or not. They want to know everything about you and they do it so they can size you up. This may be the case with this guy. He may ask you if you have a boyfriend so that he can assess you and come to conclusions about you. If you mention having a boyfriend, he may form some perception about you. If you say you don't, he'll still have an idea. He just needs some information to fill in the research he's making about you in his head. Another thing, he's jealous. You've been spending time with this guy and you both seem to get along well. The conversations are flowing and you share many jokes and moments, but you are just friends. He might imagine you sharing similar special moments with another guy for a moment and immediately feel a surge of jealousy rise within him. Although you are not romantically involved with him, he has created a special place for you in his heart and may even already feel possessive of you. So he asks about your boyfriend. Perhaps he was hoping to hear that you don't have one or that things are not going well between you two. He sees him as a competition and does not want to fall behind. Another thing, he cares about you. Asking about your relationship can be a way of checking on you. A guy might ask about your boyfriend to see if you're happy in your relationship. He might be concerned about your well being and want to know if you're being treated right. Or maybe he's just curious about your life and wants to know more about the people who are important to you. He doesn't see it as anything strange or special. To him, it's like asking about your family or your hobbies and trying to get to know you better as a person. He cares about your well being and wants to see you happy. Another thing, he's flirting. Sometimes asking about your boyfriend can be a way to flirt, especially if he's trying to see if you're single. It's like a playful nudge to see how you will respond. He is testing the waters to see if there is room for him to make a move. But this time around, he's not necessarily trying to date you. He just wants to have fun, so he wants to know if you're up for that. Depending on how he says it, you can already tell that those are his intentions. In fact, each of these scenarios depends on the context of your relationship with the guy and how he approaches the conversation. His intentions might be clear or more subtle, but understanding these possibilities can give you a better sense of where he's coming from. Hey there, my beautiful people. My name is Lydia Wanza. So, how to teach a lesson to a selfish husband? Are you a wife looking for tips on how to teach a lesson to a selfish husband? Look no further because you are in the right place. For any relationship to be successful, the two partners must put in efforts to make it work, equal or approximate measures. You might start wondering whether your husband is selfish if you are the only one putting in effort in every aspect of your marriage or relationship. It's normal for both partners to share their responsibilities equally if they are staying together. However, if one person leaves all the work in the relationship for the other person, it will take a toll on the one doing all the work and make them feel lonely and unappreciated. Can you relate to these feelings? Perhaps your husband is lazy and laid back, but those are not enough to conclude that he is selfish. Although these traits can be very annoying, the root of selfishness goes deeper than them. So continue watching this video. I will be outlining some of the ways to identify a selfish husband and some approaches to apply. 7 sapphire signs of a selfish husband. The first sign, he always puts himself first. If your husband have the mentality that you'll always put him first, it doesn't matter the current priorities in your life or how busy you are, he feels that you'll always put him first. It might be a sign that he's selfish. For instance, even if you are running late to work, he'll insist that you drop him off at his workplace before driving to yours, despite both being at the two ends of the city. He'll expect you to always do everything he says to the T, expect you to give him royal treatment always, and have your full attention whenever he needs you. The second thing, he expects you to clean up after him. Are you the only one doing the chores around the house without help from your husband, who is physically fit and free to help? It's very selfish of him to sit and watch you labor away when he can help you do some chores. For instance, You come home after a long day at work to meet the house upside down. The sitting room is untidy, the bedroom is littered with dirty clothes all over the floor, and the kitchen sink is filled with dirty plates and pots. He expects you to clean up the house after him without helping or lending a hand. This is unfair and unreasonable because it's his responsibility too. The third sign, he expects you to take care of all the finances. Does your husband expect you to be solely responsible for taking care of all the financial commitments in the home? This could include paying the bills, managing investments, and managing savings. It's not fair that he expects all these duties to be done by you while he does nothing to contribute financially. This is a sign of a selfish husband because you are meant to be partners on this journey. The other sign, he makes all your decisions for you. From the basic daily decisions like your choice of clothes to significant decisions like career choices, your husband makes all the decisions concerning your life. Does this paint a picture of your life? Then it means that your husband is running your life. You practically have no say in matters that concern you. Your husband is truly right to provide suggestions, help you, and guide you to make the right decisions for you. However, a selfish husband makes decisions for you in a manner that his decisions favor him more than it does you. The other sign, he's not appreciative and supportive of you. Every selfish person tends to think they are the best and irreplaceable. And that is why no matter what you do and how excellent you are at it, your selfish husband will always find fault with it. He doesn't appreciate the things you do and the effort you put in to make the marriage work. He is not supportive of the things you do. He believes that whatever you do is fulfilling your wife's duty. The other sign, his comfort is paramount to him. Is your husband ever ready to do the impossible for themselves but won't lift a finger when it comes to you? It's a sign that you are married to a selfish man. For instance, they drag you along while visiting their family for their holidays, whether convenient for you or not. However, they will look the other way and come up with a million and one excuses why they cannot join you to visit your sick family. Once in a while, in every relationship, you'll have to do one or two things that are not within your comfort zone, and that is why they are called sacrifices. The sacrifice should be mutual from both sides. What your selfish husband does is ignore your needs and invariably your happiness. The other sign, he uses emotional blackmail on you. Selfishness and blackmail go hand in hand because the perpetrator will need to turn the situation around and make you feel bad for whatever role you play. Watch your husband blackmail Watch your husband blackmail you emotionally whenever you point out they are neglecting you or not contributing anything to the family. They will always find reasons to excuse their selfish attitude. Yeah. Another sign, he's a spendthrift. It's always advisable to have a financial budget, spend wisely, and save some money while at it. In a marriage, the partners must be mindful of how they spend money. But if your husband is selfish, you'll only be working with a budget and spending money wisely. He spends money on whatever he likes, provided he has the money. So, how to teach a lesson to a selfish husband? Remember that your husband might have selfishness as a learned behavior from childhood. So, changing him all of a sudden does not apply here. Here are some of the ways you can teach your selfish husband a lesson. The first way, Speak to him about it. There is no way you will notice your husband is selfish. Keep quiet about it and expect him to change independently. It's not possible and does not work that way. You need to speak up to be heard. Speak up if he is frustrating you and putting you through much pain and stress with his actions. However, try not to be aggressive with your approach, as it's likely to result in a fight and the issue will remain unsolved. Be firm without being disrespectful. Pick your words Pick your words carefully, but ensure they are powerful enough to convey your message to him. Effective communication skills are needed here. The other way, respect yourself. If you want your husband to respect you, you must start by respecting yourself first. Let him know that his selfish behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated anymore. Set boundaries and make sure he knows what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Make sure you stand firm with your decisions and don't let him cross the boundaries you've set. The other thing, allow him to take responsibility. It can be that you've gotten so used to their selfishness that you unconsciously take over every duty in the home, giving your husband little or no chance to make any contributions. And it might be making him feel relaxed and reluctant about doing anything in and for the home. It would be best if you stepped back a bit. This might look like leaving him to cater for the children for a weekend or a week while you rest and refresh. He will definitely be okay. This action might make him realize his selfishness and start making changes. Also, divide the responsibilities between you and let your husband do his part for the family. Another way, focus on yourself. You see, all the attention you've been showering on your husband that fuels his selfishness, turn them to yourself. While doing your part for the family, focus on meeting your needs and wants, being happy and fulfilled, and smashing your dreams and goals.